Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it reads like this. Hello my brother, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, my story, it goes on like this. So I was doing my Matric. This was the first time that I met this guy who ended up doing a lot of terrible things to me, and through me he was able to do other terrible stuff as well. So the way that I met this guy, this was after I had joined this other social media group on Facebook. After I had joined that group, then I was just searching around, and then I saw that there was someone who had been writing a lot about things of Ukutwala, and I then started following that guy as well. So this guy, he was claiming that he know where you can go and do this thing of Ukutwala. I spoke with him. This was on WhatsApp when I started speaking with him, and we spoke for a very long time. And at that time, I was not even telling him my correct age. I was lying to him that I was 19 years at that time when I was speaking with him. He asked me if I had ever had a child before, and I said no, I have never had a child. Then this guy said, don't you think that it is far much better for you to use your own womb instead of being impregnated by someone who will never be able to give you anything? So when he said that, why don't you sacrifice your own womb instead of you being used by someone who will impregnate you and never give you anything at all? I didn't even understand honestly what this thing was all about, and I didn't even understand what it meant when they say that you sacrifice your own womb. To me, it was just maybe I was going to sacrifice my womb, then at the time when I want to get married, then life will just continue as normal. And I thought that maybe by me having money, anything was going to be possible. I even told myself that if it means that I sacrifice my womb and I am unable to have a child, I'll just adopt a baby, or I'll do that thing whereby you hire someone else so that they can have a child for you. I never understood anything since I was really young. So I then took that decision as young as I was. That guy then said that I was supposed to come and meet him. Mind you, this guy was staying in another province, very far from where I was staying at that time. I even stole some money from my parents so that I can just go and see him. At that time, I had this other friend of mine who was staying in the same province, but she was staying in a different town. I lied to my parents that I was going to meet up with my friends so that we can continue with our schoolwork. But I then got on a bus and I traveled. It was a very long journey that I had to do. This was over the weekend. I went there to his place. The next morning, I was at his village and he took me in. This guy then started asking me if I had ever slept with a guy before, and I said yes, I had slept with someone before, and he said that he wanted to make sure. So he ended up sleeping with me, but I don't know why I agreed to do all of those things that he asked from me. But what I remember is that he had some herbs that he gave me. He said that these herbs, I want you to go and bath using these herbs. And soon after I had gone to bath using those herbs, that was when I started agreeing to whatever that he was asking from me. So me and him, we then slept together. And the next day, that was when he did the rituals. The way that he did these rituals, he took this other clay pot, and inside that clay pot, he would take a hot kettle and he would boil some water. After boiling that water, then he would pour that hot water inside that clay pot, and he had mixed some very smelly herbs inside that clay pot. And after pouring the hot water, he would say, go and squat so that I can steam my private parts. This was really hot, but when I complained that it was really hot, he said that I want you to think of the money that you are going to be making later on in your life. So I just continued steaming and steaming, and when I could not do it anymore, that was when he gave me more herbs to drink, and it was like it had a cooling effect on my private parts. And the cooling effect, I can compare it like to Vicks. When you rub Vicks on your skin, you can feel that cooling effect. That is what I felt after this man had given me those herbs that he gave me. It was really a cooling effect on me, because that clay pot that was filled with water, it was really hot. So I continued and I continued until I felt that there was something that was now coming out of my private parts. So he had covered my legs from the waist area with a cloth, and he said that I was not supposed to look underneath that cloth that was covering me. So I felt that there was something that was really coming out, and he even told me that I should try to push that thing out of my body as if I was a woman who was actually giving birth. So I started pushing and pushing. Then I felt that there was something that fell inside that clay pot. After that thing had fell inside that clay pot, that was when he said it is fine. And when I started to get off from that position where I was squatting, then he quickly took that clay pot so that I could not see what was inside. What is it exactly that had fell out of my body into that clay pot? He then took it and gave it to one of his assistants. And when I looked at myself, I saw that there was blood all over my thighs. That man then said that I should follow one of the women that was his assistants. So I followed that woman, and that woman, she was holding some cotton, you know, those cotton whereby they sell it there by Pep. They are like your cotton balls. She was holding that as well with some spirit. She then started wiping me on my private parts with those cotton balls using methylated spirit as well as some charms. After that, I was told that I had to rest because I was supposed to return back home. And when I returned back home, Brother Nashi, I never saw money at all. There was no money that was coming to me. I then returned back to him and I told him that I had never seen any money like he had promised me by me selling my womb. Like he had said that I was supposed to get some money. Money was supposed to appear out of nowhere, but there was no money that was coming to me. He then said that there was something that was wrong in our family. Our ancestors had denied me to do this thing of ukutwala. And he said that instead of me using my own body, I just needed to find someone else whom I could use. I said, okay, that is fine. Then this man, that was when he gave me a waist chain. And after he had given me that waist chain as well as a bracelet, both of them, they are golden in color. He said that whenever I feel like I want to use someone in my rituals, all that I have to do is sort of like befriend them. And whilst I'll be befriending them, then I can start using them. And this was really difficult for me because at that time I didn't have any money. That was when I started to do something that was really evil. In that same location where I was staying, I then started using some of my friends. This was just after we had written our matric. I would call over my friends to our house, and when I would call over my friends to our house, what I would have done is that throughout the night I would remove that waist chain that the traditional healer had given me. Then I would soak it in water. The next day, if any of my friend was supposed to come and visit me whilst we were chilling, then what I would do is that I would prepare some food. Even if it was juice, I will use that water, the one that I would have soaked that waist chain throughout the night. And the other thing that I was supposed to do is that I had to wipe off like my back with that waist chain. Then I was supposed to put it on back, and it was really smelly whenever I would do this. So for people not to realize that I was really smelly, what I will do is that I will then take some perfume and just spray myself. My friends thought that I was someone who really enjoyed like the smell of perfume. Whenever they would come to my place, they would say that, yeah, you are always smelling nice. But what they didn't know is that it was part of those rituals that I was doing at that time. So I then ended up using two of my friends. I even made them not to be able to give birth, especially the last remaining girl, because the other one, she passed away when she was in varsity. She was highly depressed because of some stuff that was happening to her. I only found out this was after she had committed suicide. My other friend was the one whom she had been talking to, and she said that there were a lot of problems that she was facing, like she was having a lot of STIs, and at the same time she was not sleeping around because she had someone who had promised her like true love, and they were staying in different cities. So she was afraid that this guy, when they were going to meet for the first time, then the guy was going to say that she is a prostitute, and this was like a family thing. This relationship had been organized by the family, so she was afraid that she was going to let her parents down, and out of depression she then drank some sleeping pills, and these sleeping pills, the way that she drank them, it was an overdose. So people thought that maybe she was just sleeping, and when they tried knocking, they saw that there was no one who was answering and when people tried knocking, they saw that there was no one who was answering. Then they broke down the door and they found her lying in bed, and all over her bed there were a lot of pills. And then people realized that she had committed suicide and she had died. When this story broke up, Brother Nashi, I was really scared, and I didn't even want to tell anyone. Even my friend, the one who is still alive, I never told her anything about these rituals that I used to do soon after we had written our Matric. I just pretended as if everything was just okay. As for my friend, the one who is still alive, what she doesn't understand is that her having only one child, it is because of me. She had her child when she was in grade 11, and now, Brother Nashi, she is someone who is still complaining because whenever she gets in a relationship, if a guy suggests to her that they should have a child together, if she try by all means like to have kids with the guy, then nothing will ever work out. On her part, she doesn't understand. Last time that I spoke with her, she said that maybe it is God's doing. God wants me to only have one child, but what she doesn't know is that it is because of me. As for me, Brother Nashi, I never went to university, but I recently purchased my first house. This money, the way that it comes to me, it doesn't come like in millions. It just comes here and there. Just like that man promised me that the time that I sold off my womb, then money was going to come to me. I do not work. I do not do anything. The only thing that I do is that when I am free, I just go out with some of my friends that I started befriending because of the changed lifestyle. People do not even understand what kind of a business I do because I am always at home. But what people do not know is that I do not have a womb anymore. Even menstruating, I do not even menstruate at all, simply because I do not have a womb. That womb is the thing that I had coming out of my private parts at that time when I was doing this thing of Ugutwala, and it saddens me a lot because I destroyed two of my best friends simply because the money that I wanted didn't come to me quickly enough, so I wanted to speed up the process. Then that healer told me that I could actually use my own friends, which I ended up doing. Sometimes I regret a lot, especially for that friend of mine, the one who committed suicide, because she did not deserve to die the way that she died. She left behind a small boy, and whenever I visit back my hometown, I feel so sorry when I see her boy that she left behind. I know that he is going to grow without knowing the love of her mother simply because of me. But this secret, Brother Nashi, I cannot even reveal it to anyone. I just keep it as a secret. A lot of people, they just think that I am someone who dates someone that is very rich, and this guy might be a married guy, so he just keeps me as his secret wife. But people do not know that this money that I have, the money just came out of my womb. I sacrificed my womb and I was given money.